What's up, guys? I wanted to give you guys a full, complete breakdown of this Omni C20 robot vacuum because it's a super popular vacuum. I know there's a lot of robot vacuums out there right now. So I just wanted to give you guys a full, complete breakdown of this entire thing. I'll show you guys it in use. I'll talk to you guys about some of the questions that people have asked, can it clean dog hair and things like that. So I'll go over that. And then at the end, I'll just give you guys my honest review of what I think about this vacuum after having it for a while now. All right, so here's the vacuum up close so you guys can see it. And as you can see, it comes with the robot vacuum itself, and then you also get the base station, which you just plug into the wall, and the base station actually helps to charge up the vacuum so that way it's always full when you're using it. And then you also get these two different sections right here, which I'll go over. You get auto cleaning system. So you get a clean tank, which I'll show you on the top right here. So you get a clean tank and then you get a dirty tank. And what's really nice about this vacuum is that whenever it's full from vacuuming dust or dog hair, things like that, or when it's mopping, it needs to clean itself, it'll actually come back to the base station, it'll empty itself out, and it'll actually clean itself out using the clean water and then emptying it out into the dirty water, which is a really awesome feature because you don't really have to do anything to this. Once you have it here and it starts cleaning, all you have to do is pretty much change the water and then dump out the dust once this actually gets full, which is just really cool in my opinion because you don't really have to do anything. This thing just does it all for you. And I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to actually remove these tanks and fill it up with water. So right here, you just pull it out like this. There's actually a little thing right here that attaches so that way the water can flow into the vacuum and everything like that. But all you do is you just remove it like this, and then you actually have this lid right here. You can undo the lid, and then you can actually fill this up with water. When you're done, you just close it, and then you lock this into place like this. I don't know if you can see right here, but when it's off and the water's not full or there's a problem, the ring right here will be red. But once you slide this into place and it's locked into place, I don't know if you guys can see it through there, but now the ring actually turns white, and then that shows that it's ready to go and it's locked into place. But as far as the dirty tank goes, same exact thing. All you do is you just remove this up like this, and then you can actually open the top up, and then you can dunk it in the sink or the toilet or wherever you want to dump out the water, so that way all that dirty water's out. And one thing that's also really nice about this vacuum that I wanted to mention is that it does come with instructions and everything to put this all together and to figure it out. But it also has an app, which I'll show you in a little bit, that you can use to control the vacuum, turn it on, turn it off, map out your house, and a bunch of other things, so I'll show you guys. But it also has a bunch of detailed instructions and videos and things like that to help you understand if there's ever a problem with your vacuum, how to fix it, and how to set it up and things like that, which I think is super helpful, when you get a vacuum like this, especially if you've never had a robot vacuum before. All right, now as far as the vacuum itself, super nice design, really cool looking vacuum. I feel like it looks super sleek and modern, which is nice. It's really thin, so you can actually go under couches and things like that, which I'll show you guys here in a bit as well. But if we go here on the bottom, sorry, there's quite a bit of dog hair. I do have a dog, which is actually good to show in this video because it does clean up dog hair very well. But as you guys can see, there is some dog hair in here, which I'm sorry about that. But as you guys can see right here, it has this sweeper tool right here to help you get corners and things like that. So if you do have food or just dirt or something like that trapped in the corner of your house, this can actually help get out those corners once the vacuum actually gets over there, which is nice. It's got these wheels and this wheel right here to help it move 360 degrees. And one thing I want to say about this vacuum is it's super smooth. It moves very fast and smooth compared to another robot vacuum that I had in the past, which is nice. But right here, you got your vacuum right here. So you got your bristles right here, and it's kind of like, a normal vacuum. You got the bristle right there, and it is anti-tangle. So for dog hair and stuff like that, the dog hair doesn't get tangled in there, which is nice. There is dog hair in there right now just because it's sitting on top of there, but it's not, tangled in there or anything, which is nice. And then you also get these pads right here, these mop pads that you can actually remove if you want to scrub them clean and things like that. And they actually connect basically magnetically. So you just stick them in like that, boom, and now they're locked into place, super easy to remove and put back into place. And like I said earlier as well, the base station actually washes these vacuums as well. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it does wash these off and actually dry them. So whenever these mops get dirty while you're using it, this vacuum will automatically, or the vacuum will automatically go back to the base station, and it'll actually clean these off, and then it'll actually dry them for you as well, which is just super nice once again because you don't really have to wash these. If you want to, you can take them off and wash them, but the base station will actually wash them and dry them for you, which is super nice. And as far as the actual suction goes, it has 7,000 pascals of suction, downward suction, so it is very powerful because it's basically able to clean up everything in its path, whether it's dust or chips, food, things like that. This is pretty much able to clean that up, which is super nice. Another cool thing about this as well is it actually has carpet detection. So if you do go from hardwood to carpet, it'll actually detect that. It'll know that it's there, and then it'll actually lift up these mops, so that way the mops aren't rubbing against the carpet and you don't dirty your mops or anything like that, and it'll just go into vacuum mode. And you also, through the app, which I'll show you here in a second as well, You can actually switch between mop mode, vacuum mode, or you can do both at the same time. So you can mop and vacuum, or you can just mop, or you can just vacuum as well. And I wanted to mention as well, it is mopping. Water is actually coming out as well. So it's not just a dry mop going over the floor. It actually, sprays out water to help mop and actually clean up the mess. If you have like dirt and other stuff, or water or sauce, or just anything on the floor that you need to mop up, it'll actually get it wet, and then it'll mop over. That way it's not just smearing it, it actually is cleaning it up with the water as well. And then right here on the top of the vacuum, you have your on button, you have your home button right here, or your power and your home button. You don't really need to turn it on if it's already plugged into the base station, because once you just turn it on your app or whatever schedule you put it on, it'll automatically just turn on itself. But let's say you do have the vacuum away from the base station, then you can click that to turn it on. And then you have this home button right here. If you just want the vacuum to go home, go to the base station, you can click that. Then the vacuum automatically sense where the base station is, and it'll just go home. Right here, you also have a sensor on the vacuum, and it uses a static LiDAR sensing, which is super nice because it allows it to go under furniture really well. So if you have your couch or your bed, things like that, some other robot vacuums won't go under the couch. This, because it has a sensor, it allows it to go under smaller furniture, and that's why it has kind of a thin design as well, to help it do that. And then it also has this bumper right here, and it has the iPath navigation sensor system, which also just helps it navigate more and be able to map out your house, objects that are in the way, and to navigate back to the base station as well. And I'll say, after having this for a while, it does work super well with that. It is able to map out your entire house, which is nice, and it knows exactly how to get back to the base station. And it's really cool to see in the app, which I'll show you guys in a sec. And then on the back right here, you also have your other sensors, which also help to map out the house and everything. And here's just a look at the app. So it'll have all of your different devices. You can connect whatever device you have. Right here, I have the robot vacuum. So you just go here, you click enter, and then it'll automatically connect to the app. And this is actually the map of the area that I've had it cleaned before. So you got your dining room, kitchen, living room, and you can label all of it. It separates it into different rooms. And as you guys can see, it has the entire thing mapped out, which is pretty awesome. And one thing that's actually really cool too is while the vacuum's actually cleaning, as you can see, it shows the base station, the vacuum right here. It'll actually show a live feed of where the vacuum is and what it's cleaned so far. So that way you know exactly what it's cleaned. If it missed a spot, which if it hasn't mapped out, it won't, but it shouldn't. But if it were to miss a spot or something like that, you can actually make it go back to there. And you can actually go to individual rooms if you want right here, and you can click on a room and have it clean that specific room if you want. So you can set the different patterns that you want it. You can set different zones as well. So if you have like a specific mess in your house, in a certain part of your house, you can actually design out a certain section. You can make the vacuum go exactly to that section and clean that whole section up, which is really cool. And then you can also exclude sections as well. If you have something in your house, like if you set a chair right here, or you set something, you have your dog over here or something, and you don't want the vacuum to clean over there, you can also exclude those parts of your house. So that way your vacuum doesn't clean that part. And you can edit the map as well if you want. You can set up different parts. There's stairs over here. That's why it's not cleaning this part. But you can edit the map if you want. You can change the name. Look, these are the parts right here. You can divide it. You can merge a section. You can name your room. You can do a no-go zone. So you can do that all right here once you go to edit map. Then you can actually, once you already have a zone, you can actually add another zone if you want and just move it around or delete it. And then when you want to clean that spot, you just click start and it will go to that spot. In the app, you can also go here to the top right-hand corner. You can go to all of your settings, and you can go to carpet cleaning settings. You can adjust it if you want. You can do vacuum only, carpet avoidance. You can turn that on if you want. You can go back here and go to schedules. So you can set scheduled times throughout the day to actually make your vacuum turn on. You can set your base station settings. So auto drying, you can turn everything on. Drying duration, 4 hours. You can set your mop washing frequencies or how much you want it to actually clean your mops while you're cleaning. You can set your drying duration. You can set your auto empty feature for how much you want it to actually empty out the dust, stuff like that. If you have pets that have hair and stuff like that, you can switch it to high if you want. I just keep mine at medium, but you can adjust that as well. And then you can also change the voice settings, because once, when the vacuum goes or you replace a mop or something like that, it'll speak, it'll say some things, and you can change the voice of it, the language, the voice of it as well, which is pretty cool. And then you can just change a bunch of different settings as well. You can put on child lock, auto return cleaning, do not disturb, and you can switch, the area unit settings. There's just a bunch of different settings that you can change as well, which is pretty awesome. And then right here, if you click base station, you can also just manually, empty the dust, wash your mop, or dry your mop right here. And you can start it just by clicking the button through the app as well. All right, so now I'll just show you guys how it works. So you just click start like this. You can pause it. You can click go home at any time if you want. And then you can actually go right here and click mode. And as you guys can see, the vacuum just left. You can click mode. You can do vacuum only, vacuum and mop only. So right now I'll just do vacuum only. And here, once it gets out of the base station, it's going to sense where it's at, and then it's going to start cleaning, and you'll actually see it right here. So in the app, as you guys can see, it's left, and it'll actually show it start cleaning. And now what it's going to do is it's just going to start going around the boundary first. So it goes room by room. So it'll do the dining room first, and it'll just go all the way on the outside around the dining room, and then it'll clean all the space in the middle as well. So it is really nice because it lays out, as you can see, it's going around the corners right now, and it's going to lay out that boundary all on its own, which is pretty awesome. So here it is. It's able to map around this island completely. It knows where it's at. It's sensing it. And it is really nice because it really goes up to the edge of it as well. Like, it's not just, it doesn't really leave any space. It goes all the way up to the edge. Now it's cleaning around the chair because it knows it's there as well. And then it's going to go up to the edge of the dining room design. And as you guys can see in the app, it's showing the line where it's actually cleaned so far. Now it's cleaning all along the wall. And as you guys can see, it has that little like bristle right here that's able to clean out, you know, the edges of the wall, so you can get those edges as well. Here it is getting the corner as well. As you can see, that little bristle right there is able to help get that corner and get the sides while it's cleaning along the wall. All right, and now that it made the whole loop, now it's actually going to start cleaning in between. So it's sensing again right here. It just made it all the way back. It did the full loop of this room. And now let's see what happens. Now it's going to go right here to the beginning, and it's going to start doing lines all the way throughout the whole thing. So here we go. Look at how fast it is. Super fast, super smooth. And now it's going to start cleaning all the in-between as well. It's just going to do lines back and forth, which is super nice. Hey, my dog's in the way. It stopped for a second. And now it's going to keep going again as well. All right, so here it is again. And now it's just going to keep doing those lines all the way across until this whole section is all clean. It's moving over. Now it's going to do another line through. It's just going to keep going through until basically it cleans the entire area, which is super awesome. All right, and then now I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is for this thing to navigate around furniture. As you can see, there's a leg right there, and it actually just navigated around it. And then now it's actually going to clean under the couch as well, as you can see right here. So it can sense the route. Even if the couch is in the way, it knows that it can go underneath it, and it has those sensors to be able to know, you know, where to go. And even if there is, you know, the legs on the couch, it can go around those as well. And it's just going to continue cleaning until the room is done, like the couch isn't even there, which is just awesome. Here's just a quick update. As you can see, now it is cleaned basically the whole dining room, and it has the map of all that it's cleaned, which is pretty awesome that it updates in real time. And now it's moved over to the kitchen, and you can see it's starting to clean there now too. Now that you guys saw that though, I just want to show you guys some of the different modes. So now I'll do vacuum and mop mode. So I'll click that, and you can actually adjust the suction. You can do standard, turbo, or max suction. The battery level is obviously going to be drained a little bit faster if it's in the standard mode, but since it's already fully charged, it shouldn't be a problem at all. I'm going to switch it to the standard mode right here. And then water level, you can adjust it as well. If you want to make a lot more water come out while it's mopping, or less, you can adjust that while it's mopping as well. And now what it's going to do, since I clicked the mop mode, is it's actually going to go home, and it's going to clean out those mops so that way they're nice and clean before it starts going. And then they'll start actually mopping the floor. And this is what the actual inside of the base station looks like. I just wanted to show you guys. You have these different sections right here where the water can come out and the water can suck up, so that way you can clean out the vacuum. And then you have these holes up here as well, where it actually can take out the dust and everything, you know, when the vacuum actually cleans stuff. All right, now that I turn that on, now it's actually mopping. And as you guys can see, it's mopping and actually vacuuming at the same time. And now it's doing the kitchen area. Here we go. And I don't know if you guys can tell right there, the floor is a little bit wet because it's actually mopping up the floor and getting it wet. And it's mopping up those messes. And now it's actually going around the kitchen area, and it's going to map out the kitchen area, and then it's going to do all the area in between as well. And then here it is mopping the spaces in between now that it's already done the border. So it does the border first, and then now it's going to fill in all those lines. That way it cleans everything, and you can see it all in the app like I showed before. And look at how fast it's going. I mean, pretty awesome actually how fast it goes. And then it's just going to keep going back and forth until it cleans all the space that you set it at. All right, now I just wanted to show you guys a little test with dog hair. I know that's a big question. Does it actually clean dog hair? And it does actually clean dog hair really well. It has an anti-tangle function in the vacuum that allows it to not tangle very easily. And, you know, I have a dog, a golden retriever, that sheds a lot. And so this thing is awesome to be able to clean that up. And as you guys can see right here, it goes over it and it sucks it up, no problem. That was kind of a pretty big wad of hair, so it did kind of push the hair forward at first, but then once it was able to get on top of the hair, then it was able to suck it up, no problem. And yeah, it works really good for dog hair. All right, and then for the next test, I just want to show you guys some chips right here. So I'll lay these chips on the ground if you were to spill a mess or something like that, and we'll see if it can pick it up. All right, here it is right here. Let's see what happens. Here's the first pass. Looks like it got it up pretty good. Now let's turn it around. Here we go. Boom. All right, got some more. And now it's just going to keep going over it until all the chips are gone, which is pretty awesome. This is actually in manual mode, so I'm actually driving it right now. But, you know, if the mess was on the ground and it was just on its normal track, it would just keep going on the normal track until it fills in all the space and basically cleans up all the mess in the way, pretty much. But if you do have a mess like this, I would recommend just doing it in manual mode. Then you can just, you know, control it over there. Otherwise, it's just going to go in its set path, and it should get all the mess, but sometimes there can be crumbs left over. So if you go in manual mode, then you can just pick it up. And as you can see, it picks everything up, no problem at all. Looks like there's one last crumb right there. So we're going to turn it around, and you'll see that it'll pick it up, no problem as well. Here we go. Come on. There you go. So yeah, it picks up chips and crumbs, no problem at all. All right, and I just wanted to actually show you guys the manual mode so you can see. As you can see, you have this little controller right here. It's kind of like you're playing a video game, and you can actually completely move the vacuum around if you want to as well. If you don't want it to go, you know, in the path, in the automatic path, you can actually just clean manually with this as well, which is also a super nice feature, you know, if you have big messes and stuff like that and you want to hit a specific spot. So overall, as far as my review goes, this thing is an awesome vacuum. I mean, it literally does everything. It mops, it cleans, it works great. I really like the base station, how it works. I will say one thing that I've noticed is when you do, you know, put in new water in the tank here in the base station, make sure you lock it all the way down. Otherwise, it's not going to clean out the vacuum as well. And there'll be water in the base station. You have to like remove the water and stuff like that. So make sure you really press down firmly these containers right here once you empty out the dirty tank or once you put it in the water tank. That way it's able to clean out the vacuum efficiently and it's not going to get water everywhere. And then it'll work great and the ring will stay white. If the ring is red, that just means that, yeah, the suction isn't sealed all the way, or that the bin's usually not sealed all the way. So you'll just have to push that down once it's cleaning. But once you do that, it should be good. Also, I know in videos and stuff, you'll see like the vacuum cleaning up ketchup and like chocolate and stuff like that. I personally wouldn't recommend that. It can definitely clean it, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because it's going to make your vacuum super dirty and stuff like that. So if you have a mess like ketchup on the floor, I would just clean it with like a paper towel. But this vacuum is awesome. You know, if you leave the house or if you're doing something the other day and you just want to clean the dog hair or dust and stuff off your floor, this is a great option. It's really awesome because you don't really have to monitor or anything. You can just leave and it's just going to clean your whole house for you, which is amazing. So, and yeah, it can clean a lot more dirty messes as well, like sauce, things like that. But I just want to recommend that because it's going to make your vacuum super dirty and it's probably going to smell like ketchup after if you do that. But yeah, as far as my review, once again, awesome vacuum. This thing is amazing. I honestly don't really have any complaints with it. I don't really know how you can make it that much better. Maybe I would say it'd be nice if it could sense like a mess a little bit better and just clean up that mess completely before it moves on to the next part of the house, because it kind of just goes in its route that it has. Once it passes over once, it doesn't really pass over it again. And so I wish that it would have like a sensor or something where you could sense the mess and just keep cleaning over it until the mess is completely gone. But with one pass where it keeps going back and forth, it usually gets all the mess anyways. And if that were the case where it didn't, you could just go into manual mode and then you could just pass over that part manually and do that. So the manual mode works great as well. And overall, just an awesome, solid vacuum. If you guys are looking for a solid robot vacuum for the house, definitely recommend checking this out. It's a great option in my opinion.